Okay, good evening, all of you. So now I assume that you may hear now. Can someone respond whether you can hear me or not? You may unmute your mic and tell me whether you can hear me. Okay, yes. Okay, let's start the lab session. So lab sheet 10, it's available in the Moodle. I think it's visible to you. So here the objectives of the today's lab session is write program that make use of abstract classes, interfaces, and exception handling. However, abstract classes and interfaces we already done in the lab sessions also. However, today you can refresh your knowledge of abstract classes and interfaces. And the new part called exception handling. How to handle runtime exception. If any exception occurred, how to handle it inside the code. Okay, that is the last part. First, before going to that one, first of all, we will use abstract classes and interfaces. Okay, first of all, we will go to the abstract classes. Exercise 1. Okay, we will modify an existing program to convert it to an abstract class. Okay, before going to abstract class, let's little bit go through this set of code. It start from here and end from here. Okay. So here you may find class called animal. So it is a concrete class, animal. Concrete class means you can create the instances. This is a concrete class, that means complete class. So it has a string type variable called name. It is private. Private variable called name. Data type is string. And this is the constructor of the animal class. Okay, this is one argument constructor. It has only one argument, string name. However, whatever the name will be initialized to the string variable. Okay, so let's give me a minute. Okay, okay, this is the no argument constructor. It passed the one parameter called name. However, you initialize that name variable, that local variable, to the class variable called name. That means this dot name equal name. Likewise, it has another method called speak. Animal has speak. So the return type is string. Okay, it return just empty string. Okay, and there is another method called display. Okay, display method will display that system.out.println. It print my name is whatever the name available in this variable. Let's say Kitty. My name is Kitty, and how the animal speak. So, however, it is nothing empty. My name is Kitty, and the empty string will be there. Okay, that is the display part. And next there is another class called dog. However, dog is a child class. It extends from the parent class called animal. Animal means the previous class. Okay, the dog class extend from animal, which means the dog class, all the methods and attributes will be automatically inherited. If it is not blocked by the access modifier, those names, animal, those will be automatically inherit. Those variables, name variable is available to the dog class, but you cannot directly access the name variable because it is private. Direct accessible is not there because it is private, but the name variable is there. It's automatically included. Okay, and this is the public string called speak. The speak automatically inherit. Display also automatically inherit. Okay, and here This is the constructor of the dog class. The constructor of the dog class. So inside the constructor, so there is a parameter, therefore we call this as a parameterized constructor. This has only one parameter. However, inside here you call superclass constructor. Superclass constructor. So remember that, because there is no default constructor available in the superclass. Superclass, there is no default constructor available. Only this parameterized constructor available. Did you see? Only this parameterized constructor. Therefore, you have to explicitly call this one. This is mandatory. You have to call, because Java does not automatically call, because there is no such constructor available. Default constructor is not available. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් අපි සුපර් ක්ලාස් එක කෙනා කෝල් කරන්න ඕන. කියන්නේ සබ් ක්ලාස් එකක් ඇතුලේ සබ් ක්ලාස් එකේ කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් එකක් ඇතුලේ අනිවාර්යෙන් සුපර් ක්ලාස් එක කෙනා කෝල් කරන්න අවශ්‍යමයි. කෝල් කරේ නැත්නම් Java ඔටෝමැටික් කෝල් කරනවා ඩිෆෝල්ට් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් එක. නමුත් මෙතන Java එක ඔටෝමැටික් කෝල් කරන්න බෑ. මොකද ඩිෆෝල්ට් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් එකක් නැහැ මේකේ. මොකද පැරාමීටරයිස් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් එකක් තියෙන්නේ. මොකද Java ඔටෝමැටික් ඩිෆෝල්ට් කන්ස්ට්‍රක්ටර් එක දාන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා පැරාමීටරයිස් එකක් දාපු හින්දා. ඒකින්ද අනිවාර්යෙන් manual call කරන්නම් වෙනවා. So you have to call it manually. Super.name. Name mean here. You pass this variable, you call this constructor. Okay. Then after that, there is another one called speak. Okay, speak mean now it is overwritten. So here the speak is available. Speak method available in the super class also. Here the same method signature is there. Speak. Okay, it has been overwritten. The superclass just returned an empty string. Superclass just returned an empty string, but dog class returned the speak as that bow wow. It returned as this way. Okay, now this is the dog class constructor. After that, cat class constructor. Sorry, after that, cat class. Cat class also a child class. It is also extend from the animal class. This is the mother class. That is also extend from the animal class. That name, animal, that name, these constructors, all are automatically inherit. All are available to the cat class. So now this is the cat constructor. This is also not the default constructor. This is the parameters constructor. You have to pass the name. When you are passing, what happened? You have to explicitly call this one, because there is no default constructor available in the animal class. Therefore, you have to manually call whatever the constructor you written. So here you call super name. Super name means super mean this one, animal. Super class constructor. Super mean you are calling the constructor. Name mean passing the name. Whatever the name you pass, here you pass it as here. Okay, after that there is a speak, which mean overwritten one. You overwritten the speak method. This speak method you overwritten, and overwritten as cat. The speak is overwritten as meow meow. And there is another class called toy cat. There is another class called toy cat. However, it is extend from the cat class. Extend from the cat class. Then what happen? All the methods will be automatically inherit. Not only the cat is extend from the animal class. Between animal data also automatically inherit to the toy cat class. So that means this is the child class. Cat is the mother class, and the animal is the grandmother. Likewise, the hierarchy is there. And here, the toy cat has another parameter called, another attribute called manufacturer. Who is the manufacturer of that toy? It is a string type. So, and here this is the constructor. Inside the constructor, you have to pass two parameters. One is name of the cat and name of the toy cat, and name of the manufacturer of the toy cat. Okay, name you cannot directly access the name. Name is private. Therefore, you can pass it as the constructor. You call the superclass constructor. Who is the immediate superclass? toy cat immediate superclass is cat. Now you are calling the construct of cat. Here you are calling the construct of cat, which means this one. You are calling this one. So when you are calling, here you call the superclass of cat. Superclass of cat is animal. Now you are calling this one. So here we call this kind of thing as constructor chaining. So, and this is the constructor. After that, what happened? After you call the name, and the manufacturer is the class variable of the self class. Therefore, put the this dot manufacturer is equal whatever the pass parameter manufacturer. Okay. Then there is a method called display. So here you may find there is a display method available in the grand, that means grand superclass, the grandmother or superclass, the display method available. However, display method will be automatically inherit to the cat class because cat is extend from the animal, as well as this display automatically inherit to the toy cat because toy cat extend from the cat class. So display will be automatically inherit. However, that display method overwritten. You overwritten the display method. Then what happened? You are overwritten. So the instead of calling this display, instead of this one, now it call these two lines. First line, it called the superclass display. It called the superclass display. Superclass display. So what is the superclass? Superclass is cat. Cat, is there any display method? No display method available. Therefore, what happened? Display method automatically inherit from the animal class. Then this is the display method available in the cat class also, because cat class it is not overwritten. Cat class display is not overwritten. Then this is the display method available in the cat class also. Therefore, you are overwritten that display. So here super.display mean you are now calling this one. You are calling this one. My name is whatever the name. My name is cat, and this dot speak, and it's calling the this dot speak. This dot speak mean it call this one. So when you are calling this one, if it is overwritten, if it is overwritten, the overwritten one will be called. Instead of that one, overwritten one will be called. Then after that, what happened? After the void display, then it display I am from who is the manufacturer. Okay. Now inside the main class, you create the animal class object and put it whatever the name and display this kind of thing, and the my cat and new my cat, and display this one. Likewise, it display this kind of thing. Okay. Now try to execute this one. So you may use the copy and paste this code to the NetBeans IDE. First of all, go to the NetBeans IDE. Open the NetBeans IDE and create a new object. Sorry, new project. Go to the file, new project, and Java application. Next, put the name. What is the name? We can say lab sheet exercise 1, lab sheet 10. Let's say lab 10 ex1. So whatever the name you like, lab 10 ex1, and finish. Okay, now all of you can all of you see my NetBeans IDE? Can someone respond whether you can see the NetBeans IDE or not? Yes, okay. Then we will create this one. So here, this is the our main class and the main method. Here it is the starting point of the lab exercise 1 class. Here this is the ending point of the lab exercise 1. After the ending point, I put this set of code. animal class, dog class, cat class, toy cat class. And I do not copy the main class because there is a main method available here. So therefore I do not copy the main class, just only the other classes. So copy up to here and paste it. And I format it little bit, okay. So you can format this one by using the right click and format. Assume that it is not in a proper way, likewise here. Assume that this is not in a proper format. Actually, you cannot read that one. So here it is like garbage. So if you want to format, you can right click and format. So when you format, it will be in the readable way. Okay, anyone has problem up to here? I have the animal class, it is a super class, and the dog class is a child class. In the cat class, that is also a child class. Toy cat, that is also a child class. Okay, now I am going to that inside the main method. So here this is a set of the code inside the main method. So I copy this code and paste it inside the main method. So you can format this one, right click and format. Anyone has problem up to here? Now try to run this one. First one, what happened? Animal one, it is the object reference. Animal one is the object reference, and new animal. So here you are calling the new animal, mean you are calling this one. Okay, and pass the parameter as the name of the animal as test. Okay, then what happened? After that, you are calling the display method. You are calling the display method. Animal one display. So this is the display. Here my name is, here my name is, and whatever the name, you pass the parameter as test. So inside here, that whatever the parameter test will be assigned to this variable, and here you print that variable. So it print my name is test. After that, there is a dot and speak method. In the speak method, just empty string is available, so nothing to print. So just only two dots available. My name is test. Anyone has problem? Okay, then what happened? Second one, cat. My cat is equal new cat. Okay, now you are creating the cat class object. Here, cat class object. Here you are passing the Mickey as the parameter. Passing the string called Mickey as the parameter to the cat class. So which means you are calling the constructor of the cat class. So this is the cat class. So this is the constructor. Here for the name you are passing the Mickey. Then what happened? It called the super name. It called the super mean animal class. You are calling the constructor of the animal class. Super mean mother class. You are calling the super class. Super class is animal. Now go to the animal class constructor. Here the animal class constructor. Here you are passing that Mickey. Then what happened? The name Mickey will be assigned to the name variable. Now this name variable hold the Mickey. Okay. After that, my cat dot display. You are calling the my cat dot display. Okay, where is that cat class? Cat class is here. Okay, cat class. Okay, cat class has the method called display. Cat class has the method called display. So, however, display is not overwritten here. There is no, because the display is inherit from the animal class. May animal class के display का तमाम automatic में आते इन्हें automatic it inherit to the cat class, but you have not been overwritten. Therefore, what happened? when you are calling the display method, it called the superclass display method. The cat class එක ඇතුළේ මේක override කරලා නැහැනේ. ඒකින්ද මොකද වෙන්නේ? Superclass එක කෙනාගේ එක call කරනවා. So it called the superclass display. So this is the superclass. It called this one. Okay. When you are calling, my name is Mickey. Here, my name is whatever the name. You pass the name as Mickey. So Mickey is there. After that dot is printed here. After that, this dot speak. Now you are calling the this dot speak. This dot speak mean you are trying to call the speak method, but you are calling this one now inside the cat class. So because now you are inside the cat, what happened? The speak method has been overwritten inside the cat. Speak method has been overwritten. Then what happened? Instead of returning this empty string, now it called the overwritten one. Here it is overwritten. This is the overwritten one. Meow, meow. So therefore, it print meow, meow. Previously, it print empty string because only the animal class is there. You call from the animal class. Therefore, it just print all this empty string. But now that speak method has been overwritten in the cat class. Therefore, it called meow, meow. Display method call from the superclass because it has not been overwritten. Display method එක කොහොමද call කරන්නේ මේකම තමයි. මොකද cat එකේ display method overwritten කරලා නැහැනේ. මේ cat එක ඇතුළේ display එකක් දාලා නැහැ. ඒකින්ද මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙයාම call කරනවා. Now speak call කරද්දී speak එක overwritten කරලා දෙන්නේ. Therefore, overwritten one will be called. Here you call the overwritten one. After that, there is another object reference from the dog class. Object reference is my dog. Dog, my dog is equal new dog rover. Then go to the, now you are calling the my dog constructor and pass the name of the dog as rover. So where is that dog class? Okay, this is the dog class and this is the dog class constructor. So here as the parameter you are passing that rover. Then what happened? That rover will be passed to the superclass constructor. Super mean you are calling the superclass constructor. Who is the superclass? Superclass is the animal class. Call the animal class constructor with the parameter as rover. Go to the animal class. Here you are calling the animal class constructor and pass rover to here. Then what happened? This rover will be assigned to the name variable. Now this name variable hold in the rover. Okay. Then after that, my dog dot display you are calling. My dog dot display. Okay, that my dog dot display, that my dog class does not have a display method. However, display method available in the superclass, it has not been overwritten. It has not been overwritten. Display method has not been overwritten. Then what happened? It called the superclass display. Then dog class එකෙත් overwritten කරලා නැහැ මේ display method එක. ඉතින් මොකද වෙන්නේ? superclass එකේ නාම call වෙනවා. overwritten කරලා තිබ්බොත් ඒක call වෙනවා. නැත්නම් ඉතින් උඩ තිබ්බ එකේ නාම call කරනවා. So here now it call my name is after that this dot name is put as you rover and my name is rover. After that this dot speak mean this one, but it has been overwritten in the dog class. Speak method has been overwritten in the dog class. Now here this mean not the animal, this mean now dog. දැන් මෙතන this කියපු ගමන් ඉඳන් එන්නේ dog කියන එක. නැත්නම් අපිට මෙතන this කියද්දි අපිට animal dot කියලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. අපි animal dot ඇතුව this කියලා කියන්නේ මේ දැන් තියෙන එක. දැන් අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ dog එක ඇතුළේනේ. කියන්නේ මේ this කියන්නේ dog class එක. This mean dog. Dog dot speak you are speaking now. You are inside the dog class because why you are calling the my dog dot display. That means you are inside the dog class. That is the reason. So now my dog class, there is no any. Yeah, my dog class has a speak method. My dog class has a speak method called bow wow. Then what happens? Here also speak method are empty. Now this empty method will not be called because speak method has been overwritten. දැන් මේක call වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒක call වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? මොකද මේ method එක මෙයාගේ ඇතුලේ override කරලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ dog class එක ඇතුලේ මෙතන override කරලා. override කරලා තිබ්බොත් එයාව තමයි call වෙන්නේ. මේක ලියලා තිබුණ නැත්තම් වැරදිලා හරි. එහෙනම් මේ empty එක call වෙනවා. Then this empty one will be called. Where is that empty one? Here. This empty one will be called. Now it called this overwritten method called bow wow. That is why it is called as this one. Now I comment this line. Overwritten part comment. Now what happened? Instead of bow wow, it called this empty one. දැන් bow wow වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙන්න මෙයා call වෙනවා. මේ empty එක. මොකද මෙයා override කරලා නැහැ නේ. දැන් override කරලා නැහැ. override එක comment කරා. override කරලා නැතුණා මොකද? උඩ එක්කෙනා call කරනවා. මෙතන හිතන්න මේ KK කියලා දැම්මා කියලා. If you put KK, then KK will be print. දැන් මේක override කරලොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ comment එක අයින් කරොත් මේ comment එක අයින් කරොත් දැන් මේ KK වෙන්නේ මොකට override කරලා තියෙන යාව තමයි call වෙන්නේ. So now bow wow. So I remove this KK part. So get the proper idea how that inheritance works, how that overwritten method will be called. And after that what happened? There is another one called toy cat. Toy cat my talk is equal. You are calling the constructor of the toy cat. Go to the constructor of the toy cat. Okay, this is the construct of the toy cat. You need to pass two parameters, two string type parameter, name of the toy and the manufacturer. Here you are passing the name as Kitty and the manufacturer is Toys R Us or whatever the one. Okay, Kitty and Toys R Us or whatever the name of the manufacturer. Okay, then what happened? Here it passed the Kitty and Toys R Us or whatever the one. Toys R Us or whatever the name of the manufacturer. Then what happened? That Kitty will be passed to the superclass constructor. Kitty will be passed to the superclass. Now you are calling the superclass constructor. Okay, now you are in here. I put the comment. You are in here. Now you are in here. Call the superclass constructor. Okay, superclass constructor. What is the superclass of the toy cat? What is the superclass? Superclass is cat. This is the toy cat. Superclass is cat. It tried to call the cat constructor with name. දැන් බලනවා cat කියන එකේ string name එකක් ගන්න constructor කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඉන්නවනම් එයාව call කරනවා. Go to the cat class. Okay, now there is a constructor called string. Only name parameter accepted. Therefore, what happened? That Kitty will be passed to the here. Now this method will be called. Now the name is Kitty. Now again, what happened? You are calling the superclass of the cat. You are calling the superclass constructor of the cat. Who is the superclass? Animal. Okay, name is Kitty. You are passing the Kitty to the animal class constructor. It check whether there is a parameter called string type parameter is available name. Now go to the animal class. Yes, string type parameter accepted. Then Kitty will be passed to the here. Then it put the Kitty to the variable name here. Now the name of the animal is Kitty. So whatever you pass variable Kitty. Then that part is over. I told you still you are in here. In what happened? It go to the constructor chaining. අර chain එක වගේ උඩින් උඩට ගියා. ගිහිල්ලා අදාළ තැනට accept කරා. We go to the constructor chain and put that Kitty to the relevant variable. After that this part is over. Then it go to the next one called manufacturer. This manufacturer will be put to this manufacturer variable. It is its own variable, own class variable. Directly put manufacturer is equal manufacturer. then manufacture it Toys R Us or something, Toys R Us, and put it to the that manufacturer variable. Okay, now that this part is over. Then my toy dot display. You are calling my toy dot display. Now go to the my toy. This one, my toy from the toy cat. My toy is from the toy cat class. Then it called the toy cat class display. Now you are calling this display method. Okay. Now it has been overwritten because in the cat class and the dog class there is no display method, but toy cat has the display method. Display method mean මේ අර උඩම ඉන්න එක්කෙනාගේ display method එක. මෙන්න මේක override කරලා තියෙනවා. This has been overwritten. Okay. Then this one has been overwritten. දැන් මේක දැන් හරියට නිකන් ජාන වලින් ආව එකක් වගේ. දැන් මේ grandparent තමයි animal. එයාට තියෙනවා display කියලා method. ඒ animal ගෙන් dog ට එනකොට display එක දාලා නැහැ. display overwritten කරලා නැහැ. නමුත් එයාට display තියෙනවා. cat ට එනකොට display එක overwritten කරලා නැහැ. නමුත් cat ගේ child ට display එක overwritten කරලා. අර ජානයක් කාලයක් තිස්සේ හැංගිලා ඉඳලා මෙතනට ආවා වගේ නම ඒකනේ හරියට. So this one has been overwritten now. Now instead of this display method, now you can call the overwritten method if you call the toy cat. Now you are calling the display method here, therefore it call this one. Inside what happened? Inside you manually call the superclass display. Inside you call superclass display. දැන් මෙහෙම superclass super name කියලා දැම්මොත් construct එක. super dot කියලා method එකේ නම දැම්මොත් method එක තමයි call වෙන්නේ. දැන් හිතන්න එපා මේ constructor call කරද්දී මේ super dot කියලා මෙන්න මේ construct එකට මේ cat කියලා call කරනවා. cat කියලා නම දාන්නේ නැහැ. super කියපු ගමන් මේ cat තමයි call වෙන්නේ. super එක හරියට නිකන් super dot cat කිව්වා වගේ. super dot cat කියන්නේ නැහැ. super විතරයි මෙයා call cat ව call වෙනවා මෙතන. But here super dot display. Now what is the superclass? Superclass is cat. Cat, there is no display method. It is available in animal, the grandparent. Go to the animal class, it has the display. Now this display method call. It called this display method. My name is, that is why it called. Display method. Yeah. My name is Kitty. That is why it's called my name is Kitty. You pass the variable as Kitty. It pays my name is Kitty. After that dot. This dot speak. This dot speak. However, speak is this one. However, this speak, check whether it is overwritten. Check whether it is overwritten here. It is not overwritten in the toy cat class. Then what? Call this one. Then මෙයා call කරනවා. එයා override කරලා නැහැ මෙතන. So here display method, sorry, speak method has not been overwritten in here. Has not been overwritten, but it has overwritten in cat class. Then what happened? Immediate overwritten one will be called. දැන් මේක override කරලා නැති හින්දා immediate overwritten එක තියෙන්නේ මෙතන. එයාගේ අනිත් එක්කෙනාගේ. දැන් මේ child ඉන්නවනේ. මේ child ට කොහොමත් මේ speak කියලා method එකක් නැහැ. නැති වුණ ගමන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? එයාගේ immediate parent ගාවට යනවා. එයාගේ තියනවාද? මෙතනත් තිබුණ නැත්නම් යනවා original එක්කෙනා ගාවට. එතකොට තමයි මෙයාව call කරන්නේ. දැන් මෙයාව call කරන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන. එයාගේ immediate parent ගාව speak method එකක් තියෙනවා. overwritten කරලා. Then meow will be called. That is why it is meow. දැන් මේක hierarchy එකක් තියෙනවා නම් මේ දැන් ඔය මේ inheritance වල hierarchy එකක් තියෙනවා නම් hierarchy එකේ යටම තියෙන එක්කෙනා වගේ තියෙක speak එක call කරලා තිබ්බොත් ඒ බලනවා යටම එක්කෙනා override කරලාද. එහෙම නැත්නම් යාගේ උඩ එක්කෙනාට යනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් යාගේ උඩ එක්ක එහෙම උඩට ගිහලා මොකෙක්වත් නැත්නම් තමයි අන්තිමට ඉන්න එක්කෙනාගේ call කරන්නේ. So likewise the overwritten will be called. The meow, that is the overwritten one. Okay, now you are in the display method. So still you are in here. That is why this super dot display will call, so will display I am Kitty and meow. After that, it will call another one. I am from whatever the manufacturer. I am from that Toys R Us or whatever. This is how this program works. Anyone has problem? Anyone has problem up to here? Now we will go for the modification. Okay. Now we task make the animal class an abstract class and make the speak method an abstract method. Modify the main function. First of all, make the animal class abstract and the speak method also abstract. Go to the animal class. Okay, now put this animal class as abstract class. So put the abstract class. Abstract class animal. Now this is an abstract class. Abstract class mean this method may have abstract method. Not always, sometimes. May have abstract method. Now there is no any, this is not abstract, this is not also not abstract. May have abstract. The abstract class කිව්වම abstract method තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේක න එකක්වත් නැහැ. ඔක්කොම තියෙන්නේ complete method. All are complete method. And it asks to make the speak method as abstract. Make the speak method. Now this is the speak method because you are returning just empty one. No? Therefore, put it as an abstract. මෙන්න මේක abstract කරන්න කියලා. So how to put it as abstract? You have to put public abstract string speak. Now if when you are putting the abstract, it is a non-access modifier, you cannot have the method body. Abstract කරපු ගමන් method body තියන්න බෑ. So you have to remove the method body. So I remove this method body and put semicolon. Now this speak method is an abstract method. Anyone has problem? Now I change the modification, change the animal class as an abstract as well as speak method as an abstract method. Okay. Now save this one. Now when you are saving, what happened? Animal class is an abstract class. Now you are calling new animal test. Can you call in this kind of one? Can you call animal? Can you create an object from the animal class? No, it is not possible because abstract cannot. What is abstract class? Is not a concrete class. Abstract class is not a concrete class. That is why you cannot be instantiate. Therefore, you cannot use this kind of one. So you have to comment this one. And you have to comment the next line also because you cannot create object from the animal class. Okay, but if you want, you can create animal class and animal class with create a new cat object. That is possible. Cat is a concrete class. Cat is a concrete class. It is not abstract. And cat is a child class. So cat is a child class. Parent can hold the cat class. Parent can hold the cat type object. So this is possible. Now this is my name is Nest and meow meow. Because it is cat, not the parent. Did you get that one? So if you have to put this kind of one, otherwise you have to comment this line. What needs to be removed? Why? So you know the reason. You have to remove these two lines. You have to remove this two line. What is the reason? Reason is abstract classes. You cannot create object. Abstract. That means abstract classes cannot be instantiated. That is the reason. You cannot create the object from the abstract class. You can create anonymous class. It is a separate thing. I told you how to create anonymous class. However, anonymous class also it is a class. You have to implement the that all non-abstract, all abstract method. You have to implement that one. By using anonymous class, you can create, but by using the abstract class, you cannot create object. That is the reason. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated. That is the reason. Okay. And B, add default constructor to the each classes. It has to add default constructors to the each classes. Okay. Display a method giving detail of the name of the constructor. That means create example for the animal class. This is the default constructor. If you get the animal class, this is the default constructor, public animal. And after that, it has to print animal constructor called. That it print just animal constructor call. Likewise, it has to create default constructors for each of the classes. Okay, now go to each of the class, create a default constructor. Here, public animal, and this is the default constructor. You can put s out, what is asking, animal class, animal constructor called. You can copy and paste that one, animal constructor called. You can put wherever location, before this animal one or after this animal one, before this display or after this display, before the speak or after the speak, it doesn't matter. However, put it inside the animal class. Put the constructor inside the animal class. Likewise, put it inside the dog class also. So this is the dog constructor, and here I put public dog. This is the default constructor. Default constructor or no argument constructor. Here s out, and you can pass animal class constructor, the animal class, dog constructor called. Dog constructor called. Likewise, go to the cat class. Here, put the constructor. Public cat. S out. Cat constructor call. Okay. Then go to the toy cat class. Here, this is the constructor existing one. Put the default constructor. Public toy cat. S out. Toy cat constructor call. Now save the file. Now you put the default constructor for each one. So now first run this one. The same output is there because no one called the default constructor. No one called the default constructor. Therefore, the same output is there. Okay. කවුරු අපි default constructor තමයි කවුරු default constructor වලින් හදලා නැහැනේ. ඔක්කොම මේ object හදලා තියෙන්නේ parameterized constructor වලින්. හැමෝම දාලා තියෙන්නේ parameterized constructor තමයි call කරලා තියෙන්නේ. No one called the default constructor. Okay, next one it asks create an object of toy cat class and call the default constructor. What will be the output? Can you explain why the output appear as display? Okay, now create an object from the toy cat class and call the default constructor. By calling the default constructor, create the object of toy cat class. Okay, here toy cat, let's say tc toy equal new toy cat, call the default constructor. Default constructor means do not put inside any parameter. Here you put the two parameters, here only one parameter. Sorry, no parameter. Okay, now you call the toy cat class default constructor. Here you call the toy cat class default constructor. What happened toy cat class default constructor when you are calling? This is you call now. Then call කරන මෙන්න මෙයාව. Previously you call this one. Previously toy cat class. Previously you call this part. That means you call this is the constructor. Which means you call this constructor. Okay. Previously you call this constructor. Now you are calling what? Now you are calling the default constructor or no argument constructor. And that's a private message. So do we need to access modifier when we write the default constructor? Can we write without? Yeah, you can put the constructor without the access modifier. That means you can put, sorry, not this one, you can put just toy cat. That means it will automatically put the default access modifier. If you do not put the public, it will put the default access modifier. Default mean only the package can call this constructor. Outside of the class, outside of the package, you cannot call this toy cat. That is the reason. Did you get that one? That 185.094D? Okay. So remember that when you are asking, put it to the public. Do not ask private questions. So if any question it is only belong to you, then doesn't matter, you ask it privately. So if you are asking a general question likewise, so put it to the public. Okay, now what happened? Now you are calling the default constructor. What happened? Default constructor. Now this is you are calling. So remember that when you are calling, in the very first line, you have to call the superclass constructor. That is must. So here you call that one. Here you call the superclass constructor. Did you get that one? Here you call the superclass constructor. But here did you call? So remember that you have to call. If you do not call, Java will automatically call the default constructor. අනිවාර්යෙන් first line එකේ ඔයා දැන් මේ toy cat නේ තියෙන්නේ. එයාගේ parent කවුද? cat. අනිවාර්යෙන් first line එකේ cat ගේ constructor call කරන්න ඕන. cat ගේ constructor එක මෙතන call කරන්නම ඕන. call කරේ නැත්නම් Java call කරනවා default එක. cat ගේ default එක කො? default එක ලිව්වනේ. මේ default එක ලිව්වා නේද? මේක call කරන automatic. මේකත් තිබුණ නැත්නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ comment කරන්න. If you comment this one, what happened? Cat class default constructor you call. Now there is an error. අතර default constructor නැති වුණ ගමන් මොකද Java ට automatic call කරන්න බෑ. මෙතන කියනවා manual call කරන්න කියනවා එහෙනම්. Did you get that one? වැරදිලා හරි මේකේ default constructor තිබුණ නැත්නම් අපි දැන් දැන් default constructor ලිව්වේ මේකට. මේ default constructor එක තිබුණ නැත්නම් මේ parameterize that mean argument නැති මෙන්න මේ constructor එක තිබුණ නැත්නම් Java automatic call කරන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන මේ first line එකේ මෙහෙම. first line එකේ මෙතන තියෙන්න ඕන පළවෙනි line එකේ. දැන් ඒකයි මෙතන කියන්නේ මෙතන මේක තිබ්බම you can see constructor cat in the class cannot be applied for the given type. Okay, you are required to use the string, so you have to call that one. That means there is no default constructor available, only this parameterized constructor. Then මේ constructor විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. මේක තියෙනවා නම් මෙයාව call කරන්න Java දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද මෙයාට parameter එකක් දාන්න එපා. Java මේ එයාට කැමති නම් දාලා pass කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාට manual pass කරනවා නමක් දාලා. ඔයාට කැමති නමක් දාලා මෙයාව pass කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මෙතනදී you have to call super, the super, put a name, whatever the name. මෙතන කැමති නමක් දාලා call කරන්න ඕන. එතකොට තමයි අරව call වෙන්නේ. Then it will be called. Okay, now assume that this is also available. Now the default constructor available. So here there is no parameter. So if you want, now you may remove this part. So here you may remove this part. Okay, now you call the default constructor. Now you call the default. Now you manually call this default constructor. මේක manually call කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Java automatic දානවා. හරි. මේක මේ manually දාන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මේ default constructor එක Java automatic call කරනවා. Java automatic call this one. That means if you forget to put that one, if you omit this one, Java automatically call. මේ comment කාට වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ call වෙනවා. හරි. මේතර comment කරලා තේරුමක් නැහැ. It will be automatically called. Java will be automatically call this one here. Where is that one? Toy cat here. Java will automatically call this method. To call this one, you have to write that one. Make a call කරන්න මේකක් තියෙන්න ඕන. මෙහෙම එකක්. So did you get that one? to call this one, there should be this kind of constructor available. Okay, those are the additional thing. So now what you have to do, so when you are, yeah, so you have to, now you do not need to manually call, Java will automatically call this one. When you put this one, Java will automatically call this method. Then Java may automatically call karna. That in the main method, what you have did, in the main method, you call only the toy cat default constructor. I call correct toy cat default constructor, which means you call only this part. When you are calling this part, before printing this one, make a print කරන කලින් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Make a print කරන කලින් එයා call කරනවා default constructor of the, it called the default constructor of the cat class. Now go to the cat class. This is the default constructor. This call this one. Here also the same thing happen. Now this is called as constructor chain. Constructor chaining. Here also the constructor chaining happen. What happened? Before printing this one, because the cat inherit from the animal class, this one called the super class default constructor of the animal class automatically. In the animal class, this is the default constructor. This will be called automatically. So not this. This is a dog class. No? So this is the animal class. This is the animal class. This is the default constructor. This one will be called automatically. Okay. Now in the animal class, it check whether animal class extend from another one. No, animal class not extend from another one. Therefore, it stop. So actually, animal class not extend from another one. Actually animal class extend from the object class, because I told you every class inherit from the object. In the animal class inherit from the object. Then what happened? Here it called the super class. That means it called the object. The metal super can the object class call කරන්න. Automatically called the object class. Okay, automatically called the object class. Yeah, object class automatic call can object class constructor, but you do not need to call, it will be automatically called default constructor of the object class. However, you do not need to worry about that. So this is the, when you are calling the object class, it will create the object, call the object constructor. After that, come to the here. Then this will print animal constructor call. So after that, it will print here animal constructor call. After calling the animal constructor, who called this constructor? It has been called from the cat class. When the method call kare, it called from here. Now it call is over. Then it will print the cat constructor call. Then it finished the call in the cat constructor. Who called the cat constructor? It called by the toy cat. It called by the toy cat. Then that is also finished. After that, it print the toy cat constructor finish. මේ කාලේ කොහොමද පිළිවෙලට ආය අනිත් පැත්තට යනවා. toy cat එක යනවා තමයි මුලින්ම call කරේ. It called the toy cat class. It called the toy cat. Here what happened? When you are calling the toy cat, first line automatically call the cat class construct. Automatically call this one. In here also the first line it called the I will put some comment, then you will be not. This is the toy cat call. This is the first caller, toy cat. Here, when you are calling, this is the first caller. So put this one as a comment. First caller. This is the first caller. In the first line, it called the what? It called the cat class constructor. This is the second caller. Who called by? Called by, this has been called by the toy cat. Make a toy cat again call කරන්න. It called by the toy cat. Second call. So this one called by not the first caller. This toy cat call from the main method. The main call kare main method again. So it call from the main method. This one first caller call from the main method. Call from main. Main එකෙන් call කරගම first line එක මොකද කරන්නේ? He called the cat method. Cat is called by the toy cat. So then what happened? Cat called the superclass of animal. Superclass construct of the animal. Then මේ cat එක කෙනා මොකද කරන්නේ? Animal ගේ superclass එක call කරනවා. Who is the animal? This is the animal. This is the default constructor. This is called by cat class, cat constructor. So this one is called by the cat constructor. Called by cat. Called by cat. This is called by toy cat. This is called by main method. Okay, now you are in here, called by cat. Okay, then what happen? Inside here, it will, in the first line, it will call the object class. Method object class call කරලා එනවා. Object class call the constructor. The object එකෙන් මොකද එන්නේ? Object constructor එකක් දාවනවා. තව super එකෙක් කියනවා. නෑ, තව super නෑ. Object එක super ටික ඉවරයි. එතනින් එහාට, so when you go to the object class, the hierarchy is over. Then it create the object. After that, this line is over. This empty line is over. After that, this will print animal constructor call. Animal constructor call කියලා print වෙනවා. print කරාම පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ method එක ඉවරයි. After that, this method is finished. Who called this one? It called by the cat. Then go to the cat. දැන් මෙයා ඉවරන පස්සේ ආයි cat එක යනවා. මේ cat නේ මෙයාව call කරේ. So it go to the again to the cat. This one again come to the cat. Now it call in the first line. Then this part is over. Then what happened? It print cat constructor call. After calling, what happened? This cat constructor called by the toy cat. Again go to the control to the toy cat. Okay, then what happened? The first line it call is over. Then it print toy cat constructor finish. After finish, who called this one? It called by the main method. Then control take to the main method. Then control go to the main method. Now here. After calling this one, the main method is over. Program finish. Now try to call this one. So you can see animal constructor call, cat constructor call, toy cat constructor call. Animal constructor call, cat constructor call, toy cat constructor call. So this one we called as constructor chaining. Constructor chaining කියන්නේ ඔය වගේ. Constructor overload ला call करने बाद constructor chaining के लगे ना. When you are constructor overload constructor, assume that here inside the dog class, assume that you are calling this method, this constructor. මේ constructor එක ඇතුලේ මේ උඩ constructor call කරනවා නම් ඒකත් constructor chain. That is also constructor chaining. When you are calling the superclass constructor, also constructor chaining. So this covered the constructor chaining part also. Anyone has problem with constructor chaining and abstract classes? If you have any question, ask now. So remember that sometimes you may get confused. That means so many things are available. So you may not get proper idea. The proper idea is actually you cannot remember everything in your memory. That means not the construct everything. That means you cannot remember the class, whatever the things inside your memory. That means it is like a cache memory in the computer. සමහරවිට ගොඩක් කාට කොන්න මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්තේ මෙන්න මේ animal කියන එකේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන දේවල් මොනවද කියලා ඔළුවේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ animal ට name කියන එකක් තියෙනවා. එයාට speak කියලා method එකක් තියෙනවා, display කියලා method එකක් තියෙනවා. මේවා ටික ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. animal ගේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා. dog ගේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. cat ගේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. dog කියන්නේ animal ගේ child එක්කෙනෙක් කියලා ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. cat කියන්නේ animal ගේ child එක්කෙනෙක් කියලා ඔළුවේ තියා ගන්නවා. ඒතර මෙයා තමයි parent. animal parent එනවා. එයාට ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. dog කියලා ළමයෙකුත් ඉන්නවා, cat කියලා ළමයෙකුත්. ඒ ටික ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. So you have to keep it in your memory. As well as toy cat is a cat from the toy cat is a child from the cat class. මේ toy cat කියන්නේ child ගේ cat, මේ cat ගේ child ගේ. cat තව ළමයෙක් ඉන්නවා. තව ළමෙක් නෙමෙයි, cat එයාට වෙනම ළමයෙක් ඉන්නවා. එතකොට toy cat ගේ අර grandmother වගේ තමයි මෙයා වෙන්නේ එතකොට. animal කියන්නේ grandmother. So you have to keep those things in the memory and the overridden part. Then you can easily understand the constructor chaining and other things. The most problem is you cannot remember everything in your memory as a visual. So put this that relationship in the memory as a, that mean as a visual picture. දැන් මේ relationship එක ඔළුවේ පින්තූරයක් වගේ ඇඳලා තියෙන්න ඕන. එහෙම ඇඳලා දීදී තමයි මේක ඇතුලේ අර කෝල් වෙනකොට ඒක මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා තේරෙන්නේ. So after finishing this one, so read the recording again and get the clear picture in your memory. Then you can understand what is constructor chaining, what is abstract class, what is that you are calling the method, overloading, that means overriding method. Those things will be understand clearly. Okay, anyone has problem up to here? Shall we move to the exercise 2? Shall we move to the exercise 2? Yes or no? Tell me at least whether you can hear me or not. I don't know whether you can hear me or not. Can someone respond? Yeah, okay. So next one is interfaces. So previously I did the whatever that abstract classes. Now interfaces. Okay. We will try two classes. We will write two classes that implement a given interface. Okay, now there is an interface called iCompute. There is an interface called iCompute, and it has method, abstract method called calculate, abstract method called display. So remember that those abstract methods are, that means public abstract by default. These methods are public abstract by default. So remember that I did the mistake when I doing the interfaces in the previous lab session. When I doing the interfaces, I mentioned this one as public static by default. So remember that it is not public static, it should be public abstract by default. That means yeah, wait a minute, I have a call. Okay, sorry for the delay. Now tell me whether you can hear me or not. Do you hear me? Yeah, okay. So I did the mistake in the previous lab session. I want to correct that one. I don't know whether I told it to you or not. Not the previous thing. Lab sheet, interfaces and abstract classes. Yeah, here. In the previous lab session here, it was mentioned as public static by default. Previously mentioned this one as static. Now I corrected that one. This is not the static, public abstract by default. This is public abstract. That means this one is abstract class as well as public. Okay. So that is to be corrected. When that mean in the recording it mentioned as public static by default. Recording එකේ මේක ඇත්තේ public static by default කියලා. මේක static නෙමෙයි, public abstract by default. The correct one. Okay. Now it is corrected in the lab sheet also. Okay. Now go to the today's one. Okay. Now actually you do not need to explicitly write public. Default it is public. You can automatic in a public කියලා. Public abstract keyword you do not need to write the abstract keyword. So by default those are abstract because you cannot write implemented methods are not allowed. Only the default implementation are allowed. I told you in the diamond problem. Do you remember the diamond problem? Default implementation, only the default implementations are allowed. No any other implementations are allowed in the interface. Therefore public abstract by default. Again the make a default and a public abstract here. So here also it is public abstract by default. And class person. So here person class is available. There is no relationship with this one because there is no any implement keyword. No relationship. Those are independent classes. And there is a name, basic salary, OT rate, and OT hours, and net salary is there, person class. And there is another class called box. That is also independent class. No relationship with the other classes. Relationship those are independent classes. Private int length, width, and height. Box has the length, width, and height, and it has the volume. Okay. And the main method you create iCompute. iCompute mean an object reference from the interface called iCompute. This is an object reference is equal new person. Now you are going to hold the new person object to the iCompute class. Is it possible? Can you hold new person object? Can you create a person object to the that interface reference? The interface reference OB1. Can you create the person class object? Can OB1 hold the person class? Yes, person is implement from the interface. No, person is not implement. There is no any implement keyword. That is why I ask. Now that 184.119 penny. This is not implement. The implement keyword is not there. That is why I ask. Are you asking if it is implement? If it is implement, then doesn't matter. Now it is not implement. Then this give you an error because that is not implement. දැන් මෙයා implement කරලා නැහැනේ මේ අරයාගෙන් මෙයා person කියන එක්කෙනාව මේ iCompute වලින් implement කරලා දිනනවා නම් එහෙනම් මේ iCompute පුළුවන් මෙයාගේ එකක් තියාගන්න. That is not implement. අර abstract වගේ තමයි extend කරලා abstract classes වලින් extend කරලා තිබ්බොත් අරකට තියාගන්න පුළුවන් parent. දැන් මෙතන implement කරලා there is no this is not implement. Then you cannot put this will be give you an error. Okay. Here also now iCompute OB2 is new box. That is also not possible because box is not implement from the iCompute. Box has not been implement from iCompute. मैं iCompute वलिंग implement करला नहीं है. එකද මේකත් error එකක් දෙනවා. So remember those things. Okay, now try to copy and paste this code to the NetBeans interface. Put a new project called exercise2. Go to the file, new project. Let's say lab 10 exercise 2. Lab 10 exercise 2. Okay, so this is the starting of the class and this is the ending of the class. After the ending of the class, you can create your classes. So I do not going to create the main class because there is a main class is available. Therefore, I only copy this part and paste it here. Okay, if you can format, right click and format. Now it is in the readable way. Okay, now what you have to do is now you can put inside the main method, you can create these two objects. However, those will be give you an error. Inside the main method, put that code. Right click and format. Okay, now this one give you error because I compute obj because person is not implement from I compute. Person එක I compute වලින් implement කළා නැහැ. So that is the reason you cannot create this kind of one. Anyone has problem? Can all of you identify what is this error? මේ errors and හේතුව තේරෙනව නේද? Can all of you can get the idea why is that those errors are occurred? Because those are not implement. Those are that mean independent classes. මේවා තනියම වැඩ කරන classes. Those two classes are work independently. This interface work independently. That is the reason. Okay, now implement the person make use of iCompute interface. Implement the person making the use of the iCompute interface. Okay, now tell me how to implement the person class to use the iCompute to make use of iCompute interface. How do you can do that one? Now you have to implement the person class making use of iCompute interface. So remember these kind of simple question may be available in the mid semester and the final exam. You can easily get score for this kind of one. මේවට ලේසි score ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා. So these kind of questions may be available in the mid semester and the final exam also. So how to implement the person class from the iCompute? So put it in the chat session. Class person implements iCompute. Yes. So this is the class person. You have to use that implements this iCompute. So copy and paste this one. Copy and paste it to the here. Class person implements iCompute. Okay, implement the person making iCompute interface. Okay, now there is a error. What is this error? What is this error? The error is mentioned as person is not abstract and does not override abstract method in display. Person is not an abstract class. Person is not abstract. It is a concrete class. So if it is a concrete class, what you have to do? You have to implement all abstract method inside here. You cannot put that. What happen if you put implement iCompute? These two methods will be automatically inherit to the here. When you inherit to these two methods, those are abstract methods. You cannot keep any abstract method inside the concrete class. Concrete class එකක් ඇතුළේ abstract method මුකුත් තියාගන්න බෑ. Then you have to put it as an abstract person. Then doesn't matter. You have to use what does it error that? So here is abstract. Abstract class person implement I compute. Then doesn't matter. Now person is also abstract. Then you can keep this two method inside here. Because this is also abstract. Now this is not the abstract. This is concrete. Concrete means you can create instance. It is instantiable. Instantiable. That means instantiable means you can create instance. If you want to create instance, all abstract method should be implemented. Here you have to implement all abstract method. That is the problem. That is why this is give you an error. Okay, we will come to that part later. Now it asks write a constructor. Implement the person class and write a constructor. Here it asks to write a constructor. So how to construct a constructor is a person class. So public person. Okay, this is the constructor. So usually constructor what does the constructor do usually? Usually what is the purpose of the constructor? सामान्य constructor के purpose का मतलब what is the purpose of the constructor? Initialize the actually not the initialize the variable, initialize the object. The purpose of the constructor is initialize the object. When you are initializing the object, you have to initialize the variable also. Purpose of the constructor is initialize the object. When you are initializing the object, so this constructor will initialize 0 to the net cell, 0 to the OT, 0 to the here, 0 to the basic cell, and null to the name. It will put the default value to the here. So if you want your own values, you have to pass them as the parameter. So then, rather than put in the default constructor, put in the parameterized constructor. Pass this variable name, basic cell, OT rate likewise. So string name double, I put the same name, double basic cell and double OT rate. Double OT rate, double OT hours, and the double net salary. However, net salary you can calculate. So if those details are available, you can calculate the net salary. That means net salary. So the net salary is equal basic salary plus OT rate into the OT hours. This is how you calculate the net salary usually. Therefore, net salary you do not need to pass it as a parameter. Only these ones are okay. Then what you have to do is you can 184.185.094 Yasantika. Can't we keep the calculate and display method in person class with its abstract keyword? Yeah, if you want, you can put this one method as abstract keyword because you do not need to provide this one as abstract keyword. Those are by default abstract. Then may abstract keyword you ask that can't we put this one method inside here with the abstract keyword? Abstract keyword you do not need to explicitly write this one as abstract. You do not need to write this one as abstract. That means abstract void, actually you do not need to provide this one. It automatically inherit, automatically this will be happen. Make automatic you do not need to write. It will be available. But you cannot keep any abstract method. The reason is person is not an abstract class. Did you get that one? Person is not an abstract class. That is why you can't keep it. I think you now you understood. No? If the person is abstract, then doesn't matter. Now then doesn't matter. Now you can keep those things as abstract. අලුතින් තියන්න දෙන්න කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ abstract එකට තමයි. Do you have any problem that 94D? Did you get that point? Or do I need to explain it again? Okay, yes. Okay, now I wrote the constructor. Now initialize the variable. Name put to the name variable. That means this dot name equal name. After that, this dot basic cell equal basic cell. And this dot OT rate equal OT rate. And this dot OT hours equal OT hours. If you want, you can calculate the net salary and put to the net salary also here. Okay, but here I do not go to the calculate the net salary. There will be a method to calculate. Therefore, inside the constructor, I am not going to calculate the net salary. Okay, just initialize the other variables. Okay, now next one, implement the method iCompute inside the method in iCompute in the iCompute method and calculate the net salary. Implement the methods in iCompute. Now you have to implement. Now those are abstract methods. Two methods available. You have to implement the methods available here inside here. Did you get that one? You have to implement it as because you have to override. You have to override these two methods. So okay, override one by one. Take the first one. Here put the at override annotation. However, it is optional. At override. Put this one, copy and paste. Okay, now this will give you some error when you are overriding. When you are overriding, this will give you an error. What is the reason is, I told you calculate is public abstract by default. It is public abstract by default. Did you remember that? Those are public abstract by default. Okay, this is public. Now here, what is the access modifier? Then make access modifier. Is it public? Is this public? Now tell me, is this public? This method is public or private or default or protected? Then make a access modifier. Public, the private, the default, the protected. No, this is not public because you do not write the public. If you do not write the public inside the concrete class, it is default. Make public automatic interface public. If you put inside the person class, it is default. So now this is public. Your overridden method is default. Then it has a weaker access privilege. That means you can go to here. It's a calculation person implement iCompute attempt to assign weaker access privilege. Then මෙයා public මෙයාට එද්දී පොඩ්ඩක් access ටික අඩු වෙලා. So it give you an error. So here also put it as public. Then there is no error because by default this is public. මේක මුකුත් දැම්මේ නැති වුණාට මේක default නෙමෙයි එන්නේ මේක public කියලා එන්නේ because it is an interface. Those are public abstract by default. මෙතන abstract කියලා ලියන්න ඕනෙත් නැහැ, public කියලා ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ, automatic ඒ දෙක එනවා. But here it is not automatically come. Abstract you have to remove because you are going to implement, but public you have to put. Okay, now you are going to calculate. Okay, now what you have write inside the calculate? Implement method. In the compute method, calculate net salary. Here it is asked to calculate net salary. That is why I do not calculate the net salary here. If you want, you can calculate the net salary in the constructor also. But constructor is not going to do any calculation. That is the reason. අපි construct එකක් calculate වලට use කරන්නේ නැහැ. කැමති නම් use කරන්න පුළුවන් බැරි කමක් නැහැ. නමුත් ඒක purpose එක තියෙන calculation කරන්න නෙමෙයි. Only for the initialize the object. The purpose of the constructor is for only for the initialize the object. But if you want, you can do the calculation also. It doesn't matter. But usually we do not do that one. So therefore we put it inside the calculate. Now we are going to do the calculate the net salary. Okay, net salary is equal basic salary plus OT rate into OT hours. So here you can use this dot net salary equal this dot basic salary plus this dot OT hours into this dot OT rate, and right click and format. So this is usually you calculate the net salary. The net salary calculate කරන මෙහෙමනේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් net salary කියන්නේ basic salary එකට යා කරපු OT ගන්න. OT hours 5ක් කරා නම් OT එක hour එකට රුපියල් 100 ගානේ නම් ගෙවන්නේ 100 වැඩි කිරීම 5. රුපියල් 500ක් හම්බ වෙනවා වැඩිපුර. කරපු OT hours වලට. So this is the usual way. Actually calculation, how to calculate this not given there, so you can use how you usually calculate the basic salary. Anyone has problem? So this is the calculation. Okay, but not only this one, so you have to implement the all the method. You have to implement the display also. So now override the display. Not only the calculate, you calculate is there, then implement the display method at override. How override is optional thing. Public void display. Okay, now what to display? There is no any things given in the question. Therefore, you can usually think what you have to display. So you can display name and basic salary, everything. But assume that I do not want to display everything. Just display name and the net salary. Because you calculate the net salary, no? Just display name and the net salary. You can display S out, name of the employee equal plus name, this dot name. After that S out, net salary of the employee, net salary of the employee equal plus this dot net salary. Then right click and format. Okay. Just print. If you want, you can print the other things also, because in the question it doesn't say what to print, what to display. Okay, therefore I just print only the name and the salary. If you want, you can print the basic and OT rate and everything. Here I just print only the name and the net salary. Anyone has problem? Now you override this one. Okay, now you overwritten the method. Okay, yeah, there is I think object problem. Here it is OB1, here OBJ1. The additional J is there, so remove that J. So here there was a mistake that here object reference is OB1. So change it as OBJ1 because it is OBJ. No? After that you call OBJ. Here also change it as OBJ. OBJ2. So I think you can understand there is a mistake. The object reference එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ OB1 කියලා call කරන්න OBJ1 කියලා. So there is a mistake. Change it as either change these two as OB1 or change this one as OBJ1. එක්ක මේක OBJ1 කරන්න නැත්නම් මේක මේ දෙකම OB1 කරන්න. Here also the same. So here I change the OBJ1 and OBJ2. Okay, now next one, implement the box class making the iCompute interface. Okay, now not only the person class, implement the box class also, because here you create the iCompute obj from the box class. You cannot create any object from the box class without implementation. Therefore, likewise in the implement iCompute, here also box class put implement iCompute. Copy and paste. Now you are going to implement this one. So remember that now what you have to do, now you have to implement these two methods. So here you have two methods, override, void calculate, void display. You have to implement. So when you are implementing, you have write at override and write this one. So remember that IDE will automatically generate this override and this method on behalf of you. You have to write only the body. So rather than put this one as manual, you can generate this code. දැන් මම මේක manual එකින් එක ලිව්වානේ. මේ manual එකින් එක ලියන්න නැතුව generate කරන්න පුළුවන්. body එක විතරක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලියන්න. So you can write only the body. How to do this one? You can click this one. You can click this bulb icon. Box implement. Yeah, click this bulb icon and implement all abstract method. So when you click this implement all abstract method, so these will be automatically generated. අර වගේ method දෙක override ලා එනවා. So inside here it say unsupported exceptions will be there. I will come to the exception later. Exception is in the third exercise 3. So here just empty part is there. So remove this code written here. So remove this code. And here also remove. Okay, just overwrite. Now inside here you can write whatever the code you like. Calculate. How to calculate? You have to, in the box, you have to calculate the volume. How to calculate the volume? Volume is equal. Okay, now here also to put the constructor. So here I didn't put the constructor. First of all, put the constructor. So I forget to put the constructor. Public box. So purpose of the constructor is initialize the variable. Therefore, pass this variable length, width, and height. If you know the length, width, height, you can calculate the volume. Therefore, volume does not need to pass. So int length, int width, int height. Those are the things. And after that, initialize those things. This dot length equal length, and this dot height equal height, and this dot width equal width. And right click and format. Okay, now you make the constructor. Now implement the calculate method. How to implement the calculate method? You have to calculate the volume. How to calculate the volume? This dot volume is equal, usually box volume is equal. How to calculate the volume? Length into width into height. This dot length into this dot width into this dot height. And right click and format. And you have to implement the display. Okay, when you implement the display, so what you can display, let's say display only the volume. Let's out volume of the box equal plus this dot volume, and right click and format. Anyone has problem? Okay, now there are no any errors available. Now try to run this program. Okay, first there is a name and a person called Anushka. After that you make the calculate. After the calculation you make the display. So inside the display, name is Danushka, salary is whatever the basic salary plus OT hours in OT into OT hours. That means 1000 into 5, that means 5000, 4000, 40,000, 45,000. Then salary is 45,000. After that, so this is the box, and when you are display, volume of the box is 6,000. 6,000 mean 10 into 20 into 30. It just display the values. Anyone has problem? Create variable of box and person type. Create object and calculate and display. Now it has to create separate one, that means separate box and person type. So you can create person p equal new person. Now you put the iCompute and put this person value. Now person type, let's say Kamal, and the basic salary 50,000 and OT rate 500 and OT hours 12. And after that p dot calculate, you have to calculate the basic salary. After that display, p dot display. So now when you are running, now Kamal, name of the employee Kamal, net salary is 56,000. Net salary is 56,000. Likewise, create a box. Box B is equal new box, and here you have to pass the width, length and height. Let's say 4, 5 and 7. After that, B dot compute not the calculate means calculate the volume. After that display, B dot display. So then it display this one. Anyone has problem up to here? So now what you have to do is, now question D, describe any advantage you see using the interface type variable, interface type variable seen in the original main function code, variables obj, ob2, as proposed using the object type variable. Describe any advantage you see using the interface type variables seen in the original main function. What are the advantages you encounter? Describe any advantages you see in the interface type variable seen in the original main function. So remember that. So advantage mean if you create an instance of iCompute, you can hold any object, whether person or box. So here you can put obj1 can hold person type object as well as box type object. The both one can be held by iCompute. But if you use person type, you cannot keep any box type object to the P. You cannot keep any person type object to the B. Those are independent classes. But this is the interface. That means it looks like a parent class. This is the interface. Interface is the parent one. It can hold any child object. So when you are calling the calculate, it automatically call relevant one. If the obj is belong to the person class, then call the person class calculate. If this obj is belong to the box class, then call the box class. So this one we called as runtime polymorphism or dynamic polymorphism. Those are the advantage. Another advantage is by using the iCompute, here you are promised to implement this kind of method in each classes which are implemented. You are promised, which means assume that when you are creating a class, assume that now you are creating a class here, class called my class, my test class or my test or something. This is implement. This is implement iCompute. Then what happen? When you implement this, ID show you that my test is not abstract class, not overridden. That means it give you have to override because you promise here to override everything in the concrete classes. මේ interface වලින් මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? interface වල කියනවා මේ method ඔක්කොම අපි promise කරනවා අපේ concrete class වල කරනවායි කියලා. ඒව නිකන් අර බැඳුම් කරයක් වගේ කලින් අර මුලින්ම දෙන්න promissory note එකක් වගේ දෙන්නේ නිකන් අර පොරොන්දු පත්‍රයක් වගේ දෙනවා මුලින්ම. අපි කරන ඕනම ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරන එකකින් අපෙන් කරන එකට මේවට මෙන්න මේ දෙක හම්බ වෙනවායි කියලා. ඔය සමහර සේල්ස් රෙප්ලා කියන්නේ අපෙන් ගත්තොත් මෙන්න මේ දෙක හම්බ වෙනවා. අපේ දින දෙකකින් ගත්තොත් අපේ ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එකක් දැම්මොත් මෙන්න මේකත් හම්බ වෙනවා මේකත් හම්බ වෙනවා. එයාගේ ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් තියෙන ඕනම ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එකකට මේව හම්බ වෙනවා. අන්න ඒ වගේ තමයි. මෙයාගෙන් හම්බ වෙන දෙයට කලින්ම කියනවා මෙන්න මේක තියෙනවායි කියලා. So that who is caller of this one know there is a method called this kind of method. There is a method called compute. There is a method called because you are promised every that means every implemented concrete classes has this method. හැම implement කරපු concrete class එක මේ method දෙක තියෙනවා. So those are the advantage. That means they know there these kind of methods are available. Will be implemented. So anyone has problem before going to the exercise 3? Anyone has problem up to here? Tell me at least whether you can hear me or not. Yeah, okay. Shall we move to the exercise 3? Exercise 3 means exception handling. Exercise 3. So here we will write a program that will allow us to enter given number of marks and calculate the average. And we will try to use the catch block inside. Complete the comments in the given code. See the following links for the specific exception you can use. Okay, now there are complete codes available. Now you are going to use the exception. So did you cover the exception in the lecture? Did you cover that exception part in the lecture, how to handle the exception? Okay, now I think you have the proper idea of how to handle the exception. So exception means runtime exception. If any error occurred runtime, how to handle that one? Okay, before going to the exception, first of all, go through this class. What are we are going to implement? There is a class called myExceptionTest. Class called myExceptionTest. It has int maxSubject. This one has integer type variable maxSubject and an array called integer type array called marks, and integer type variable called total, and integer type variable double type variable called average. Okay, now this class hold series of subject. Assume that now this semester you have 10 subject, then mark every, that means max subjects are 10, max 10 subject. Then array also should be initialized to the 10 element. Then you have to assign each marks that means each marks of the subject in this array. After that, get the total of that marks. After that, what is the average of that mark? Now we are going to this one. Okay, not only this one, there are other things to be calculated. And after that, public my exception test. Okay, first of all, create a method here. Oh, sorry, not the method. Create a new project. File, new project. Java application. And let's say lab 10 exercise 3. Okay, now this is the one. And after that, so there is no any main method available, only this one. So that, then I can directly copy this part, copy and paste. So on a problem is this comment also taken as a different values. Okay, right click and format. Yeah, it is not possible to copy and paste everyone at once. So first of all, create this part, copy this part and paste it here. After that, void calculation, copy this part and paste it here. And after that, rest of the thing. And right click and format. Okay, inside here you have to copy this one. This is the comment. So I copy this comment. I copy this comment here. So when I copy in this one, yeah, it is not possible to copy. So I will go to here and check whether how to copy that, read one by one. Okay, now this one has a max subject and marks, total and average. And what is this exception test? What is this exception test? What do you call this one? Yeah, constructor. This is the constructor because the same as the class name constructor. Initialize the class members to 0. So here I will initialize. User will not pass any values. So here I will put the class members to 0. That means this dot max subjects equals 0. And actually marks cannot be initialized because there is no what is the marks available. We cannot initialize it to 0. Then total, this dot total is equal 0 and this dot average is equal 0. Actually, you do not need to provide 0 by default. The values are 0. However, okay, then calculation. First one, input the value for the max subject from the keyboard and initialize the max subject and the marks. So you have to get the keyboard input for the max subject and initialize the max subject and the mark. So here, yeah, I remove this part, then you will be get confused when the try catch. Just only the calculation method. Okay, just only the calculation method. That's a method called calculation. What we have to do is input the value from the value for the max subject. So you have to get the keyboard input for the max subject. So how to get the keyboard input? You can use the scanner class. Scanner sn equal new scanner. Here you have to pass system.in. So you have to import the scanner. Here, click this one and import Java util scanner. Import Java util scanner. Then it will be automatically import Java util scanner. Okay. Then you can get the initialize for the max subject. So you can get the keyboard input. Max subject is integer type. Here you can use this dot max subjects is equal sn dot next int. So get the integer type variable from the keyboard and put it to the here. So before taking, ask user to enter. Use sout, enter max subject. I put the system.out.print only, not the ln, because put it in the same line. And put the max object to the here. Okay. Then what you have to do is initialize the max object. Okay, max object now I have initialized. And the marks. Marks is the marks is the array. So you can initialize the marks variable. How to initialize that one? You can use this dot marks is equal new int. What is the size? Assume the size is 10. If the 10 subject, then 10. However, 10 is available in the max subject variable. You may use this dot max subject. Now this marks array has been initialized for the, assume that user enter 10, then for the 10 elements. Initialize the array for the 10 elements. This dot marks is equal new int this dot max subject, and I format. Anyone has problem up to here? No problem. So using for loop input marks. Okay, now assume that user enter 10. So get the 10 values and put to the marks array. So you can use for loop for int I equals 0, I less than this dot max subject up to max subject and I plus plus. What you have to do is you have to get the keyboard input. You can use sout, enter marks for subject 1. Actually enter marks for subject 1. So actually not the what is this error? It's in return statement. Enter marks for subject 1. Okay, enter marks for subject 1. So after that subject 2, how to change that one? So here you have to change this one, remove this one and put 2 double quotes. Put 2 double quotes. When you are putting 2, yes, 2 double quotes are available, and go to the middle of the 2 double quotes and put 2 plus sign, and here use I plus 1. Enter marks for, I start from 0, enter marks for 0 plus 1 mean 1, enter marks for 1. After that enter marks for 2. Likewise, you can enter the marks. After that, get that marks and assign to the array variable. That means this dot marks zeroth position is equal, zeroth position equal, you can get it sn dot next int, take the integer variable. So you cannot use the 0, it is variable. So first it is 0, next it should be 1. Therefore use the I variable. I think you may understand the simple things. Enter marks for the subject and put it to the marks variable one by one. You enter the one by one marks. Anyone has problem? Calculate the average marks. Now you have to calculate the average mark. To calculate the average mark, you have to take the total and divide by number of. Take the total and divide by number of subject, max subject. So how to get the total? So when you are entering the marks, take the total also. When you are entering marks, get the total. This dot total equal this dot total plus this dot marks I variable. Take the total of the marks also. When you are getting the marks, put it to the total marks, add to this one. Now you have the total marks also. So then what you have to do that one, you have to calculate the average. So after the for loop finish, you can calculate the average. How to calculate the average? This dot average is equal this dot total divided by this dot max subject. This dot total divided by this dot max subject. However, total is integer, max subject also integer division, then floating point numbers will be automatically omitted. Therefore, one of the variable converted to the float or double. So therefore, I assume that this one, first one total, convert this total to the double. Cast this total to the double, after that divide. Then you will get the floating point numbers. Anyone has problem? Okay, next one is you have to do, okay, you calculate the average also. Next, input two numbers for the division from the keyboard and call the division method. Okay, division method. So you have to take the input two numbers for the division from the keyboard. Now you have from the keyboard you have to take the two numbers, number 1 and number 2. After that, call the division method. You have to call the division method. What here the division method does? It has the two numbers, number 1 and number 2. Return the value of number 1 divided by number 2. So you have returned the value, that means divide that one. So what you can do, you can return number 1 divided by number 2. This is the division. However, it is as integer division. It doesn't matter. Put the integer division. Divide number 1 and number 2. Okay, now it has inside the calculation method, you have to take the numbers for the calculation for the keyboard input. From the keyboard input, you have to get the numbers. After that, call this division. Okay, now take the numbers. Let's say S out. Enter number 1 for division. Here I remove the ln part, and here also I remove the ln part, just only the print. Okay, enter number 1 for the division. So after that you can take the number 1. Let's say int n1 is equal sn dot next int, because you are getting the integer type variable. sn dot next int. Likewise, take the number 2. I copy this one and paste it here. Enter number 2 for division. Then n2 is this one. Then after that, call this division method and get the answer. So here return integer type. Let's say int answer is equal division. Call the division n1 and n2. Call the division. Okay, sometimes you may get confused. How do you directly call division without creating object? Sometimes you may get problem how you directly call division without creating object. You are inside the exception test class, inside the calculation method, you can call the get value or division without creating object. To call the methods available in the classes inside, you do not need to create an object. You can directly call. But when you are when inside the main method, why do we need to create that kind? But assume that there's a main method available. Assume that this kind of a main method available here. Public static void main here string args. Assume that now you need to call this division method. Let's say int k is equal you are calling this division method. You are calling this division method with two values 3 and 4. Can't we call? Here you cannot call. What is the reason? The reason is a different thing. Here you cannot call this one inside the main method. You have to create an object and call. Here you have to create an object. That means my exception test, let's say t equal new my exception test. After that you can use t dot division. Then doesn't matter. You have to create object and call. But here you directly call without creating. Inside the calculation method, you directly call division without creating object. But inside the main method, you have to create object. What is the reason? Then calculation කියන method එක ඇතුළේ නිකම්ම call කරන්න පුළුවන් division කියන එක කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැතුව. නමුත් main method එක ඇතුළේ call කරනවා නම් object එකක් හදන්න වෙනවා. What is the reason? Yeah, division is not a static method. Division is not a static method, but main is a static method. Do you remember that? Static methods are not allowed to call non-static methods. මේ static කට්ටියට non-static ලව access කරන්න බෑ. They are not allowed to access non-static variables and method. Non-static වෙන method එකක්වත් variable එකක්වත් මුකුත්ම බෑ access කරන්න non-static නම්. But they can access static. Assume that division is static. Assume that division is static. Assume that division is static. Then doesn't matter. You may directly call without int k is equal likewise. Then you can directly call without any problem. But if it is non-static, you cannot call. Because non-static, then they are not allowed. That is a different reason. That is the problem. But here what happened? Here division is non-static, calculation also non-static. That is the problem. So therefore I remove that one. That is for the explanation. I do not need any main method. What happened there? This calculation is static. Then you are not allowed to call this dot max object. මේ කිසිම access කරන්න බෑ. මේ ඔක්කොම non static නේ. this dot max subject මේවා static ද නෑ මේවා static නේ මේවා non static then you are not allowed to access මේ කිසිම access කරගන්න බෑ යාට static වුණ ගමන් මේ එකක්වත් object access කරගන්න බෑ මොකද මේවා non static ඒවා non static ඒවා access කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ static වලට so statics are not allowed that is the reason this is a different one therefore do not confuse with the static and non static non-static methods are allowed to call non-static inside the same class okay so this is a different thing not belong to this part අද පාරකට සම්බන්ධයක් නෙමෙයි කිව්වේ so sometimes you may get confused how you call okay now you get the two input from the keyboard and you call the division method and put it to the answer variable and after that you display the answer of division equal this dot sorry not the this answer you display that one okay then next one is so still I didn't come to any exception handling just I write in the answer for this code now input an array index from the keyboard and display the value of index using the get value method okay get value so this get value return the value of the index so if user pass any index assume that this mask has 10 element this marks as 10 element 10 element means 0 to 9 if user pass here 7 then return the 7th element that means what is the marks of the 7th element okay now you are returning how to return you can return this dot marks this dot marks which element array index element whatever the past one here you pass the index assume that you pass 7 then return mark 7 index a 7 index එකේ තිබෙ value එක ලකුණු ගන්න 75 නම් 75 return කරන්න දැන් user කියනවා 7 වෙනි subject එකේ mark එක කීයද කියලා. ඒතකොට 7 වෙනි subject එකේ mark එක අරගෙන ඒක 75 නම් 75 return වෙනවා. මෙතන 3 කියලා pass කරොත් 3 වෙනි subject එකේ marks ටික. Assume that third subject marks is 79 then 79 will be returned likewise user will pass the array index then this method will return the mark of that particular index of the array okay now after that task input array index from the keyboard and display the marks from the get value method okay now ask from the user to enter the index s out enter enter array index for the marks so here I use only the print after that scanf or not the scanf sn dot next int you call the sn dot next int and get the one so put it to the variable int index number let's say array number array index number equal this one now user will ask 7 or 5 or whatever the index number then what you have to call this method and get the value then int mark is equal call the get value and pass the array index number and after that display that marks s out marks of entered array index equal then whatever the mark here I put the mark because there is a variable called marks It doesn't matter, you can put the marks also, then it is a local variable, you can put the same marks, but for the confusing I put the different name as mark. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ, අර name එකම ගන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද මේක ඇවිල්ලා class variable එකක්, මෙතන local variable. Then doesn't matter, you can use the same one, but for the confusing I put the mark. Okay, next, use the try catch block to prevent the following errors. Okay, before going to the try catch block, run this code, and what happened? Run this code. Okay, you cannot run this code because inside the main method there is nothing inside. No? First of all, create an object from the myExceptionTest class. After that, call the calculation method. Okay. myExceptionTest, let's say MET equal new myExceptionTest, and after that MET dot calculation. Now you call the calculation. Okay, now enter the max subject. Let's say 4 subject. I am not going to enter 10 subject. So I enter only 4 subject. After that, it asks from the for loop, enter marks for the subject 1. Let's say 45, subject 2, 78, subject 3, 34, subject 4, 67, and enter. So did I display the average mark? Yeah, I didn't display the average mark here. That means calculate the average mark, but I didn't display that one. No? That is, I did not display. Then it automatically comes the division. Let's say division. Let's say 8. Enter number 1 for division. Enter number 2 for division. 8 divided by 4. That means 8 divided by 4. Answer is 2. Enter array index for the marks. So here I enter 4 subject. That means 0 to 3. Let's say I need the second one. Second one means this is the 0th one, this is the first one, this is the second one. Second one means 34. So answer is 34. So here just display the marks, average marks. After I calculate the average mark, display the average mark. Average marks equal plus this dot av key. Okay, now again run. Let's say max subject 3, first subject 56, second subject 45, third subject 98. Then average is 66.33. This is the average. I think it is correct. Average display. After that, enter number 1 for division. Okay. Now enter number 1 for division. Let's say 10. Enter number 2 for division. 2. Then 10 divided by 2 is 5. Enter array index for the marks. Assume that I need to get the 56. 56 means 0th index. So I enter 0. So 0 is 56. So this kind of one will be there. Okay. Now I am what going to do is handle the exception. Okay. Now first one is input mismatch exception, runtime errors. Now I am going to handle the runtime error. First one is we call input mismatch exception. Okay. Now check whether here when I am going entering this one for the for loop, you are entering marks. Marks should be integer type. You are getting integer type marks, isn't it? So then when you are running max subject, assume that max subject, enter the max subject. So you are taking the next int, you are taking the integer type marks. Okay. Now assume that you enter 6.7. Is it integer value? 6.7, enter the max subject. Is it integer type and max subject? It is correct, max subject 6.7. User enter 6.7. Is it correct? Yes or no? Tell me whether this one is correct. Enter max subject. Subject no. Subject dasma sankhya තියෙන්න බෑ. Subject either 6 or 7. It cannot be 6.7. User enter 6.7 and enter, then program crash. What is the crash? Input mismatch exception, because here you are taking enter the max subject. After that you are taking the next int. You are taking the int. Did you get that one? Here you are taking the integer type. You are accepting integer type, but user enter double or any other one. Let's say user enter not the 6 point, user enter k. Is it valid integer? Enter max subject, user enter k. Is it valid integer? Yes or no? Then what happen? You enter again input mismatch exception. Program crash and terminate. So here now you have to handle. So users may enter whatever the one. Therefore, what you have to do? You have to handle this one. Program cannot be crashed. You have to handle. So what to do that one? So here there are so many times get the integer value. With හැමතැනම integer ගන්නවා. මේ කොහේ හරි දැනක වෙන මොකක් හරි enter කරොත් crash වෙනවා. Now here it is crash at this point. Then මෙතනින් තමයි crash උනේ. So here at the beginning here this line it has been crashed. So sometimes this line it can be crashed. Then මෙතනත් integer ගන්න මෙතනත් enter කරොත් වෙන මොකක් කරන එක. Then also it can be crashed. Here this line also can be crashed. And here this line also it can be crashed. Here this line again it takes the integer. This line also it can be crashed. Therefore, Java has ability to exception handling. Exception handling means when you are executing this one, when you are executing this next.int, the program may be crashed. That means next.int execute කරනකොට program may crash වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So therefore what you have to do is you have to tell to the program, try to do this one. If any crash occur, do this one. So you have to tell that try to do. ඒ කියන්නේ පුළුවන් නම් මේක කරන්න, බැරි නම් අපි කියන දේ කරන්න. program එක crash වෙන්න එපා. බැරි නම් කරන්න දේ මොකක්ද කියලා මම කියනවා. You have to do that one. Okay, how to do that one? There can be several crashes available. So the entire code entire code there may be crashes. Therefore, what you have to do is this entire code from here highlighted code you have to put inside the try catch block. We put here at the beginning we put try and open the bracket and close the bracket at the end of the code. මේ පටන් ගන්න තැනයි මේ end කරන තැනයි කොහේ හරි තැනක crash වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන්නේ. So try to do this one. If any crash occurred, if any crash occurs, you have to catch. You have to catch that one. Catch. Now tell me what kind of exception occurred? This kind of exception occurred. Input mismatch exception may be occurred. If any input mismatch exception occurred, catch that one. So you have to put that one. Input mismatch exception. So create this kind of instance from class and put it as x variable, whatever the variable name. So here you can put EO, XO, whatever the one. After that, put open and close in the curly brace. So now I right click and format. Now here actually what happened? Here try catch block is there. Try start from here. The try start from here and try end from here. Now you are asked to try to do this execution part. Try to do this one. මෙන්න මේ code එක execute කරන්න try කරන්න. Any exception occurred, catch any mismatch of, that means input mismatch exception. මොකක් හරි mismatch input mismatch exception එකක් ආවොත් එහෙම මෙන්න මෙතනට එන්න කියනවා. So come to this point. Okay, that means program won't be crash. Program may crash කරන්න එපා මෙන්න මෙතනට එන්න. Assume that now in this line, assume that there is an exception occurred. Assume that in this line there is a user enter k or something, 7.9 no k or any mismatch, input mismatch exception. Then what happened? Then at this point program going to crash. Do not crash at this point. Then directly jump to the catch. කියන්නේ මෙතනදී මොකක් හරි exception එකක් ආවොත් එහෙම run time එකේදී එතනින් එහාට කිසි දෙයක් කරන්න එපා. මේ කිසිම දෙයක් කරන්න එපා පල්ලෙහා තියෙන ඒවා. program එක crash කරන්නත් එපා. කෙලින්ම පයින්න මෙන්න මෙතනට මේ point එක. And do whatever the written here. So here I will put s out, tell to the user there was a input error or something, display it to the user. So we call that try catch. Now run the code. What happened? Now enter the max subject and user enter k and press enter. Then there was an input error. This will be print. There will be program may not be crash. Program may crash in it. Did you get that point? Instead of program crash, program will be terminate at this point. Anyone has problem? Then next one is, so any after this point, assume that enter max subject is 5. Enter marks for subject 1, 67. Enter marks for subject 2, here I put 45.9. Then also program crash. Then there was an input error, program crash. At this point in the for loop second iteration, it jumped to this point. Did you get that one? This is we call the exception handling. Handle the exception inside the try catch block. Anyone has problem? Okay, now not only this kind of exception, there can be another exception, arithmetic exception. So this is another one. There can be so many exceptions. There is here only 3 exceptions available. This is an arithmetic exception. What does it mean by arithmetic exception? This is the example. Okay, when you run this one, enter max subject, let's say 3, subject 1, 23, 12, and 67. So those are the max subject. And now next one is the division. So when you are trying to divide, let's say number 7, number 2, I put the 0. Second number is 0. Then it try to divide 7 by 0. Try to divide 7 by 0. Can we divide 7 by 0? Is it possible? Is it possible to divide 7 by 0? No. Then it gives you arithmetic exception, divide by 0. Arithmetic exception, divide by 0. Because in this method, try to divide 7 by 0. Arithmetic exception. So it has not been catch. A exception a catch kala nahi. मैं catch kala तीन input mismatch है इधर. You catch only the input mismatch. The arithmetic exception has not been catch. So therefore, if you want to handle that one, put another catch. That is arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception. Let's say K or H or let's say E. So whatever it is exception, no, therefore I put it as E. You can put whatever the name you like. And here you may use S out. There was a error, divide by 0. When divide by 0. There was an error when divide by 0. That display it to the user. Okay. When you run this one, enter max subject 3, 12, 34, 12, 34, 65, and average is this one. Enter marks 5, 4, and the enter number 1 and the number 2 is 0. Then it will give you there was an error when divided by 0 because it has been captured. Now program has not been crashed. The program may crash in so it has been handled. Exception handled. Okay. Okay, now try to do this one. Another exception. Next one is array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bound exception. Okay, now come to that one. Let's say subject 3, 12, 45, 76. Okay, average is 44. Enter number for division. Let's say 5 divide by 2. Answer is 2. 5 divided by answer is 2. Enter array index for the marks. Okay, now I am entering array index. So max subject is 3. Now array indexes are 0 to 2. 0, 1, 2. If I enter array index as 5, are there any array index called 5? No. Then what happened? There will be a program crash because program is trying to access 5th index, marks 5th index. However, it is not available. When you enter this one, then array index out of bound exception occur at the 5 because there is no any 5 location available. Location so then program crash. Then also you can handle. If you want, you can catch that one also. Catch array. So many exceptions available. Array out of bound exception. So put it as E. And here also you can use S out. You are enter invalid array index. Okay, now try to run this one. Max subject 3, 12, 34, 65, and division 8 divided by 2 is 4. Enter. Enter index for the marks. Let's say 7. 7 is not available. Then you are enter invalid array index because it has been captured. It has been captured. So if you want, however, that whatever the error, that array out of bound exception, whatever that error is available in E variable, whatever the E or whatever you put the variable name E or K or whatever the name here I put E, it is available in the E variable. If you want, you can print that variable also rather than putting your custom error. Custom error if you want, you can put that E, println E. Here also, if you want, you can put that E. Here also, if you want, you can print that E variable. So now try to run. Then max subject. First of all, I will enter 6.9. So it is invalid. Then that 6.9 means input mismatch exception. So then what happens? Enter Java util input mismatch exception. It is available in the E variable. E again Java util mismatch exception. So that will be printed. So likewise, enter max subject 3, 12, 34, 65. After that, let's say division by 0, 5 divided by 0. Then Java arithmetic exception by 0. This will be printed. Likewise, try to get the array out of bound index. 2 subjects, 12, 45, 3 divided by 6 is 0. Array index, let's say you are accessing 4 because only 2 available. Now you are accessing 4. Java lang array out of bound exception 4. So if you want, you can print custom message or you can use this one. So not only the message, if you want, you can handle this one, whatever the code, not only the print, whatever the code you written here will be executed. Whatever the code written here will be executed. So assume that any other exception, the may to not assume that any other exception occurred, then you can catch that one, catch any exception. It is called general exception. Exception E. Any exception you can test out, print error or something, whatever the one. Any other exception, print error. Okay. If you caught any other exception, print error. That means error, or you can print the E value. Or E. So then it print the whatever the error. Okay, now there is another one called finally. Finally is the optional part. That means after doing after doing this part, assume that there is no any error occurred, so no any exception occurred, then this will print only up to here. After that, if you want, you can print finally finally, right click and format. Finally print this one, which means whether any error occurred or not, after that finally print this one. This code will be guaranteed to be run. Can error එකක් ආවත් නැතත් අන්තිමට මේක print වෙනවා. So for assume that you put the error 6.8. 6.8. Now there is an error. So Java util input mismatch exception. After that, this code will guarantee to be run. Now guarantee. Now we have guarantee because no any runtime crashes, maybe runtime exception may be there. All are captured. Mismatch captured, arithmetic captured, array out of bound captured, any other one also captured. Captured. Any other general exception will be captured. This one will be guaranteed to be run. So assume that now there is a program crash. Assume that there is no crash available. Then subject is 3. Marks are 12, 34, 65. After that, sorry, another mark 78. Sorry, 34 subjects. No, so I crash. I stop the program. I can't enter the 34 subjects. Run it again. Let's say three subjects. 34, 56, 32. And average is 40. Division 8 divided by 2 is 4 in the array. Assume that correct one. 3 subjects means 0 to 2. 0 to 2 means, let's say, first one means 56. Yeah, 56. After that, this call is guaranteed to run. Make a print anthing. So this will be run. However, this is an optional part. This is an optional, but we usually do not write that one. Finally, because we know it is guaranteed to be run. I think that after the final, if you want to do that one, whether exception occurred or not, if you want to print this one, you can do this one. That is the final part. So and there is another one, when you're handling the exception, assume that now when you're getting this kind of one, assume that now inside the main method you are handling. Inside the main method, you are trying to call the division. Without the calculation, you are trying to call the division. Division, no get value, whatever the one, let's say division. Here you are calling the division. Let's say int answer is equal met dot division. You enter number 7 and 0. Okay, not the 7, 8 and 2. Let's say 8 and 2. 8 divided by 2. And I just comment this line. Not call the calculation method, just call the division. What happens when you are calling? it is available to the answer variable. After that, print s out division equal plus answer. Okay, now when you are running, the calculation method will not call it comment. Now division is 4 because 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. What happened? 10 divided by 0. If you put 10 divided by 0, then exception occur. Then there is exception because here you doesn't handle because it is not inside the try catch. And make it in try catch. Therefore, again exception occur. Therefore, actually, you know this division throws exception. May division neka exception nak enna puluwan eka. As well as get value also, it can be exception may be occur when you are running. Did you get that one? So if it is divided by 2, then doesn't matter. 10 divided by 2, then doesn't matter. Answer is there. But there can be exception. This method has exception. මේ method එක ඔයාලම බැලුවම තේරෙනවා මේ method එක crash වෙන්න පුළුවන් method එකක්. This method can be crashed. Therefore, you can tell to the Java this method may be crashed. This method has exception. You can tell it here throws exception. This method throws exception. May method deka exception throw karනවා කියලා කලින්ම කියනවා. So this one we tell that to the Java. This method throws exception. May method deka exception throw කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කලින්ම කියනවා. For the better understanding. Then what happened? When in the main method it give you an error because unreported exception here, that unreported exception must be code declared by the thrown. ඔයා මේක call කරද්දී exception එකක් එනවා ඒක handle කරන්න කියලා මෙතන කියනවා. So it asks to handle. Then what you have to do? You have to put inside the try. මේක try එකක් catch එකක් ඇතුළේ දාන්න කියලා මතක් කරලම කියනවා. Put it inside try catch. Try catch exception E or whatever the exception. So put it inside the try catch and print. Not only this one, put this one also because if it is any error occurred, answer is not there. Therefore, put this one also here. Why we can't put this line after here? අපිට මේක එළිය දාන්න බෑ. මොකද program එක crash වුණොත් එහෙම මේ answer එක print කරන්න බෑ. මොකද මේම answer එකක් නැහැ. මේක crash වුණොත් එහෙම මේ answer කියලා variable එකක් නැති වෙනවා. එතකොට මොකද මේක print කරගන්න බෑ. Therefore, if the program crash, the answer variable is not there. Therefore, you have to put it inside the try catch block. Now there is no error you can run because you put there will be an exception. කලින්ම කියන exception එකක් එනවායි කියලා. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? අනිවාර්යෙන් මෙයා try catch එකක් ඇතුළේ දාන්නම වෙනවා. So likewise here also you can put this one also throws exception. Therefore, when someone call, you have to put it inside the try catch. මේ වගේ try catch එකක් ඇතුළේ දාන්න වෙනවා. Here handle several exception. Here handle all the exception at once. මේ එකින් එක වෙන වෙනම handle කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාලට වෙන වෙනම දාන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ input mismatch આવොත් එක විදියකට handle කරන්න. Arithmetic operation આવොත් තව විදියකට handle කරන්න. Likewise, you can handle one by one. If it is input mismatch operation, handle in this way. If it is arithmetic exception, handle in this way. If it is array out of bound exception, handle it in this way. Likewise, you can handle one by one if you type one by one exception. But here what happened? Here you put all at once. Any exception, handle it here. You can put s out error or something. Any exception, you put error. Here also you can do. You can omit this everything. You can omit this everything and put only this catch. You can omit only everything, only that catch all exception. Mono exception එක આવත් error කියලා විතරයි print කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ division by 0 ආවත් error කියනවා, arithmetic operation එකක් ආවත් මේ arithmetic division by zero ආවත් error කියලා එන්නේ, array out of bound ආවත් error, number mismatch උනත් error, whatever the exception is error. So then if you want this way, then you can do. If you want to handle it manually, then you have to use one by one. If you want to handle the error one by one, you can do the catch one by one. This is the, we call the exception handling. This part we called as exception handling. Anyone has problem? And this is the end of the lab session. I did the exception handling part a little bit fast because now time is 9:11. Up to here, do you have any problem? If you don't have any question, then I can wind up the class. Okay, so seems to be no questions. So go through the recording again several times and get the idea what is that abstract classes, what is the interfaces, what is exception handling. Go through one by one and refresh your knowledge. Okay, then I will conclude the lab session. Thank you for the participation.